Amy, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's so much fun to come and play.
Yeah, you're so
Yeah.
welcome. Now, Amy, you've been part of TCI for how long now?
So my first webinar was September 2015. So it's just coming up to 5 years.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And so now, why are you still part of TCI for people that are into like short courses and stuff like that? Why are you still here?
So partly I'm a lifelong learner and there's always new stuff to learn and new pieces to connect with.
Yeah.
More than that though, it's the community.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else that I've found, and I've been looking, there's nowhere else that I've found that is as connected and cares as much about each other's success as TCI.
Yeah.
So my best friends, with the exception of my husband, all of my inner circle are now people from TCI. And I can't find that else. Like I can't find that anywhere else. And
Yeah.
so until I find that somewhere else, and I'm really not hopeful that I will, I'm going to keep hanging out because the community is amazing.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I like how you said it's like, and I'm looking because I'm the same. You know, a lot of people think that it's weird that you're into TCI so much, but I always say, well, it's unfortunate that the rest of the world doesn't operate the way that we do, or it's unfortunate that there aren't just so many other communities that you can connect with where people are there for you and genuinely there for you and actually don't want anything in return and are happy just to serve.
Yeah.
And there's so many other communities that are like, what can I get? What can I get? What can I get? What can I get? Or, you know, like, for example, I even think about like a church, for example. Like a church would be the closest thing I could think of. Like if you find a good church, it's like it's a good community. But then what if you're not religious?
Yeah.
What if you don't believe in that specific strain of religion? And one of the things that I love about TCI, it's like, well, this is a place for you, no matter who you are, no matter what you believe.
Yeah.
We're just going to accept you with open arms. And you know, I guess that if you're into learning and growing, then you'll love it here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the only kind of, that there's some love of learning, some love of growth, but I get to bring all my weirdness and I get to bring whatever I want. And as long as I keep learning and loving and growing, I'm welcome.
Yeah, I love that. And so, Amy, share with everyone, how do you use your coaching skills? Where do you use them? Because I know that you're a mum, right? So you use them in your family and you also use them in your business. But just share with everyone, how are you using your coaching skills?
Yeah, so definitely in my business. That seems like an obvious answer. But outside of that, as a mum, my parenting has changed phenomenally in the last 5 years. How I show up for and with my kids. I've got a child home sick today, and I just dumped business stuff and snuggled with him watching a video because I can. And so the flexibility comes into my parenting. My language with my kids is so much different. My attitude with my kids is so much different. The same in my marriage. As a daughter, I was chatting to my mum the other day, and I didn't bring any of my coaching stuff to the conversation. But in the back of my mind, it's like, bring your behavioral flexibility, Amy. Like, show up. She doesn't know any better. Where's the compassion and the empathy that you normally have for your clients? Bring that right now.
Right.
And so it comes into every aspect of my life.
Right. And what is your business for people who are watching? What is it that you do?
Yeah, so I work with small business owners to connect back to their own goals. I think so often society tells us who we're meant to be, and our parents and there's all this shaping. And as a result of that, people procrastinate and self-sabotage and put stuff off. And they think there's something wrong with them, but really it's the wrong goal. When we set goals that we love and we're aligned to, yes, it's hard. And yes, there's obstacles to overcome, but our heart's in it. When we set goals that other people have told us to set, we self-sabotage and we procrastinate and we beat ourselves up. So I help people align their goals with their soul and really connect to what they truly want as opposed to what they think they should be doing to please the rest of the world.
Fantastic. Now, very important question. Before you came to TCI 5 years ago, did you know how to do any of this? And were you living the life that you're living right now?
No.
How different was it? Paint us a picture, because it's easy to see the person, the woman that we see in front of us right now, but for people that don't know you, you got to give us the backstory now.
Yeah, so pre-TCI, pre-coaching, I was in a direct sales business and ideally was doing what I just described. Like that was what I thought I was doing.
Right.
What I was really doing was adding to the you should want this and you must do this. And I was the burden on my team members. And then they would procrastinate and self-sabotage. And I would sit there and go, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then off the phone, I'd go, what's wrong with me? So there was this massive mismatch. I grew my team really quickly, which was amazing. But then I had all these people that I had no idea how to support, no idea how to nurture. Like my version of nurture was get the fuck over yourself and get on with it. Like that was as kind and gentle as I got, which just didn't motivate anybody.
Yeah.
And so I had a team that I couldn't motivate and I was not helping them. And then I would get off my calls with my team members and think there was something wrong with me. And I would ring my own manager and go, I can't motivate them. They're not doing anything. They're miserable. I'm miserable. Help me. And to her credit, she showed up to me amazingly. She's still one of we still speak every week. We're still in touch and I love that. But she had no idea how to help me not be so emotionally invested in what other people were doing. And so I ended up quitting and saying, I will never work with people again. I'm done. I'm not playing with people. People are too hard. And I lasted about 3 months in that I'm going to have an online business that doesn't talk to anyone because we're all driven for connection. So I was miserable. I'd quit my business, which meant that I'd walked away from all of my external aspirations. I had no idea who I wanted to be, no idea what I wanted to do, thought that I was a failure, was bordering on, do I quit my job or do I quit life? Because they seemed like the only options. So I quit my job and I commend the me back then of choosing to quit my job and not quit life. And I'm not sure how I did that. I feel like there's some good fortune in that. But I still had no idea who I wanted to be or what I wanted to do when I grew up.
You were at such a low point.
It's just, it was awful. It was awful. And I stumbled across TCI. I didn't know if coaching was what I wanted to do. But I could come and be weird. And that felt like a good start. These people will accept me. Maybe I'll become a coach. Maybe that'll be my path.
Wow.
But in the meantime, maybe I'll get some communication skills. On the outside, it was the gung-ho. I'm going to become a coach. I'm going to do $1 million. I'm going to dive into, because I couldn't be vulnerable and say, I have no idea what I want.
Wow. That's so significant. So, wow, that's so awesome, Amy. So when you joined, you joined, because it seems like a weird thing for you to do, like to become a coach, like based on where you were. It's like, I hate people, I'm going to become a coach. But so it sounds like you joined with the external goal of, I'm going to be the best coach ever.
Yeah.
But you actually knew that the reason why you were joining was because you felt like you could be accepted and you could start being yourself and maybe start learning skills.
Yeah, very, very.
Or was that unconscious?
Very, very it wasn't conscious to me at the time at all. It certainly wasn't something I would have admitted out loud to anyone, but I don't even think I was admitting it to me. It was just, well, I'll just chase this new external dream and goal. And then maybe, hopefully, but it wasn't conscious at all, but it was this, because I remember the moment in the webinar with Sharon, and she said something like, who sees all of you and accepts you anyway? And my answer was no one, which was not accurate, but it was certainly how it felt at that time. And there was this glimmer of, she asked the question, maybe she'll do that for me. Maybe she'll be that for me. And then I instantly suppressed that and went, no, don't talk. You don't need to be seen and heard and validated. You need to just get on with it and build a business and tick the external boxes. So it was so foreign to even just acknowledge that I wanted that. I wanted connection. I wanted to know how to formulate relationships with people that was healthy. I wanted to know how to be there for other people and help them pass their shit. But I certainly wasn't coming in with that. I was coming in with gung-ho, I'm going to find a way, I'm going to be the best coach ever. Get out of my way, watch me. Yeah. Which now just feels so ridiculous. But at the time, it's where I was. And it was all I could admit to myself, because to admit just how alone I felt was beyond what I could admit even to myself.
Yeah, wow. So Amy, as you joined the school and as you started to engage yourself into the community and you went to trainings and you connected with the other students and you started applying the learnings that you got from the school, what started to shift in you?
I think the first thing was acknowledging that there was stuff in me that I felt like needed working on. And there was me playing a part in this. It wasn't just that the rest of the world is fucked and people are fucked. There was something in how I was showing up that was contributing to the responses I was getting.
Yeah.
And that was tough. And that probably took me about 6 to 9 months to sort of even get a glimmer of taking ownership of. But when I embraced that, so it was tough because it was me and I had to own that, but it was also really freeing because it was me. And if it's me, then I can change me.
Yeah.
I can be me differently or be more of me or bring a different version of me. And that became very empowering. And so there was a difficulty in that because it didn't kind of sit well with me. It's me. That was tough to face. But the empowerment of, well, if it's me, I can change this.
Yeah, and I get that. It's a dance between our ego that doesn't like us accepting that we are the cause of most of our problems in our life, and then the other side is great. I'm also the solution.
Yeah,
and
that's
through
it.
Education, I can change it. What was the part of the school for you that was the biggest thing? Like, was it the community? I know you mentioned that early on. Was it the fact that you have access to so much great trainings? Was it the mentoring? Was it specific models? Like what's been a game changer? I know it's probably hard to put it down to one
I
thing.
kind of want to say all of it.
Right, all of that stuff. Yeah.
So the community played a big part. It took me a while to start tapping into that and recognizing just how important that was. In the beginning, for me, it was the critical alignment model and really just embracing the different perspective to look at stuff. And that I found quite empowering, like really just tapping into there are different angles of this and there are gaps in what I'm paying attention to. And by identifying those gaps and starting to close them, I started to improve every area of my life. So yeah, the critical alignment model I grabbed really tightly to, and much to my husband, I criticize him, but really he's been so patient along this journey, because I literally applied that to everything, including our sex life, how we stacked the dishwasher. And that model became my, because it was something outside of me that I could start to trust in while I learned to trust me. And so, yeah, the critical alignment model was the first kind of one that really, really grabbed me. And then every model since.
Yeah, and then all of it. Well, you're an amazing student because I know you quite well, but I think you've done every training that we have here.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything that I think you nearly have shares in the school. You've come to many courses and done, you eat it all up.
Yeah.
So congratulations on what you've achieved, because you've got a full-time coaching business that allows you to spend time with your family and spend time with the people that you love the most. You've changed who you are in a very, very small amount of time, to go from a low point of really considering, do I opt out of life, to then getting to a point where you are guiding people through connecting with themselves now at a deeper level, and you're learning how to be there for your family at a deeper level all the time. So really, congratulations. It's awesome what you've achieved, and it's only, you're only just beginning. Like, I look forward to continue to interview you.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who is inspired by your story and who's considering joining TCI and becoming a coach?
Just do it. There'll be stories, there'll be stuff that you tell yourself to try and get yourself out of it. Overlook it and say yes. This is the time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. It's been a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thanks, Matt.